Hey, it's Jackie and welcome back to my channel for another film-inspired makeup look. Today we are recreating Margot Robbie as Cathy in the new Wuthering Heights film. I did get some of the exact products that were used on set now that some of the beauty articles have come out. So we're going to try these. I have some dupes as well. And the makeup and hair for this film was designed by Siân Miller, and she's talked a little bit about like the progression of the beauty looks. I had so much fun recreating the doll braids on my own hair, so that will be at the end of this video as well. But let's start with the cinematic makeup. I've already prepped my skin, but I'm adding a little bit more moisturizer before I apply the makeup. This is Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, one of my all-time favorites. We want all the products to really blend into the skin and look dewy. Next, either take a lightweight foundation or a skin tint. This is my personal favorite. It's the Luminous Silk Perfect Natural Glow Foundation from Armani, and this is the shade 3.5. Work in really sheer layers because we do want this to look like skin, and also take this down the neck. Like in most of my character transformations, I grabbed for the Makeup Forever HD Skin Palette. This is great for highlighting, contouring, adding a little bit of bronzer. I've taken this shade here and I've speckled around the face, like the hairline, over the cheeks, over the nose. Now that we've warmed the skin up a little bit, I'm taking the contour shade. I doubt they used any contouring on Margot. She is so snatched. She has the prettiest bone structure, so I'm just kind of adding in a sharper cheekbone. Cathy even looks a little dirty sometimes. And again, for more variation to the skin, I haven't concealed under my eyes or my lids because I want some of that like purpley pink to just come through naturally. And there's some soft sun-kissed realism to the skin, so that I look a little bit more like Margot Robbie. I'm gonna do an inspired nose contour. I've done this in the Barbie tutorials, Wolf of Wall Street. Again, I'm creating a suggestion of stronger bone structure. Creating a small shadow. Let's brush up the brows. Hers really don't look super filled in, but mine are a little bit more sparse. Just filling in with natural looking strokes. The overall effect we're going for is lived in and a bit unruly. I am so excited to try out this Chanel product on the cheeks, but I do want a little bit of a flash throughout the face, and it looks to me a little bit more peachy on her nose and her chin. Dotting it over the nose tip. Again, going for that variation of skin tones. I also want to add this to my lids. Freckles are such a big part of Cathy's character in the movie. I'm using this Etude Naturally Freckle pen that I just got, and this is the shade Light Brown. When I first recreated this look just with my brown hair, I went with quite subtle freckles, and then I actually saw the movie and they are bigger than I thought. So let's do quite a few and go kind of heavier with the dots, like bigger than you might think. And a cool tidbit about the film is they did use a stencil and then airbrushed it over young Cathy and adult Cathy so that it was the same pattern throughout. And it looks more natural if you add a couple throughout your eyelid as well. This freckle pen really did work amazing. It was super easy, but if you don't have a freckle pen and you don't want to buy one, you can always use your brow pencil or a little bit of brown eyeshadow. The eyes are super minimal, but I am using a couple neutral shadows. This is just from a Wet n Wild palette called Always Naked. First, this purpley brown. Taking this under the bottom lash line. I'm using this tiny little brush and just following along where my bottom lashes are. Creating a little point in the inner corner. And then this brown has a touch more gray to it. Adding this over the top lashes, keeping it a bit smudgy, and then we'll buff it out with our finger. Just for a little bit more depth to the eye. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Give the lashes a curl. We'll do one swipe of mascara. I just got this one from Lancome, and I love it. This mascara isn't clumpy at all. You can make them look quite natural. And then you could build it up as well, but not for this look. Personal preference, but I always like to do a cheeky little outer corner lash just on the very outside of the eye. These are just a small pair from Kiss Lashes. These have an invisible band, so they're great. If you caught up with my last tutorial, I used the new Smashbox contour stick. This is the shade Light, and I really like it for above the Cupid's bow. I did a Nina Park inspired makeup look, and it looks like there's a little contouring in this look as well. And I was reading some behind the scenes, and apparently what was used on the lips is just the Burt's Bees Rose Tinted Lip Balm. So let's see if this looks close. And then I'll go in with a lip line. Smells good. Honestly, that does look really accurate. Sometimes hers was a little bit more red depending on the outfit, but the natural Your Lips But Better look, Burt's Bees, so pretty. Margot still has a pretty defined lip line. I tried a couple different shades, but I ended up using Pillow Talk, what I thought was a lip liner, but it's an eyeliner, and it was a great shade for it. I know Pillow Talk was often used on the lips as well for some of the more toned down lip shades. Get a little more rose. A main feature of the Wuthering Heights aesthetic is how blushy everyone is, especially Margot Robbie's character Cathy. But this is kind of a viral product now because this was used on Margot Robbie. It is the Berry Boost shade, number 1 de Chanel. I've never tried this product out, but it is a lip and cheek balm. So it's going to look a lot deeper in the pan than it does on the skin. Let's do a little swatch on the arm. Ooh, that's so pretty. Just looking at a photo to make sure I'm getting the placement right. Pati Dubroff, who usually does Margot's makeup for like red carpets, started using this to the press tour as well to match the film. There's no shimmer, it's balmy, it's not too glossy. You can just build this up on the cheeks. Apparently the shade Red Camilla was used, but this looks really accurate. Like, I'm glancing at a photo, this photo, it looks the exact same, so I'm not gonna mix in any red, but some of the looks she did have more of a red lip and more of a red cheek as well. I think the berry was my favorite though, so I'm just gonna stick with this one product. But what you can do if you don't want to splurge on this because it is pretty pricey, take a look at your lipsticks and see if you have anything that looks kind of similar in the pan. It can be darker because we're really going to sheer it out. For example, like this is in the same family. This is After Hours by Revlon. It's a matte lipstick. You can take it on the back of your hand, sheer it out on its own, or add a little bit of a lip balm to get more of a balmy texture. Mixing it. Like, that's pretty similar. Maybe a little bit more purpley, but then you can create that very similar flush. Yeah, like that looks pretty much the same. Just mix any deep berry lipstick with a little bit of lip balm, sheer it out, add the flush. Also added a little bit of this to the eyelid. Again, you can find all the references to the products that have been used linked down below. I'm feeling very much like Cathy right now. Speaking of the press tours, do you guys have a favorite look? I think my favorites are these 2 black dresses. I really like this mini one, but the overall styling of this is just like so perfect. Margot's the queen of press tours. I loved all the Barbie looks. I'm loving the Wuthering Heights press tour as well. I'm taking a little bit of translucent powder just to set everything, but I do want the skin to appear quite dewy. But I also want to set the makeup. If you love a kind of gothic look but you have light hair, Margot's a great reference with all of these looks because, you know, she makes it work. Something a little bit more natural, and then like the gaudy jewelry I think looks super cool, especially on blondes. You can totally leave the look as is. This really captures the vibe, but I'm taking a balm. You could use Vaseline, the Burt's Bees balm. I have this one from Pat McGrath that I want to use. Warming it up. Let's add a little bit more, almost like sweat to the skin, because Cathy is always like sweaty. Forehead. So it's all about those natural textures to really pick up the light. Again, if you're wearing this out, you can tone this part down because it does make you look pretty shiny. Some gloss to the lid as well. Ooh! First, add some texture to the hair. I just took a flat iron and created little crimps throughout. You can do this to your own hair. Even like wigs, because you're not using that much heat, you can kind of add a little bit of texture. And then it's a half up, half down style, and it's just twisted. Rough everything up. Use a mini plastic elastic and then wrap your hair around that elastic. And there we have the burnish glow for that soft cinematic flush. In this look here, which I also want to recreate, Joy and Happy Blush from Rare Beauty were used, which I do have, so I'll have to test those out. And the lip there is Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this film. My review is that I freaking loved it, but I'm not a huge fan of the novel. I never read it, and I've never seen any of the other adaptations. For me, it was entertaining. Every shot was stunning. Like, loved the costumes, the hair, the set design. It was moody. I loved Charlie XCX in it. Like, all the songs were great. And I personally don't really love a lot of nudity in film. Like, I feel kind of awkward in a theater when there's like really long sex scenes, but I found like it was super sexy without the nudity. I loved it. So here's the same look that we've just recreated, a little less of a sweaty version. And now here's how to recreate the iconic doll braids. Section off 2 front pieces for mini victory rolls. We'll style these last. We want 2 cascading braids, pick up a section and divide into 3. Dutch braid, adding in hair for about 3 stitches. Then continue as regular braid. Loosen this up for some softness and repeat on the other side. Now for the corset detail. Take your ribbon, slide one end under the top inner loop of the left braid, pull it across and through to the top inner loop of the right braid. Cross the ribbon in the center, skip down 1 braid stitch, and slide each ribbon end under the inner loop of each braid. Cross in the center, and repeat this crisscross pattern about 3 times. Loosen slightly so you can really see that corset detail. Now we're binding the braids into one. I had a full crush out here, so these are my personal Heathcliff's hands. My husband is literally weaving my braids together. Instead of pulling the braid under and through like before, wrap the ribbon over the braid this time. Still cross the ribbons underneath in the center. The only difference is wrapping over instead of under when you pull through the braid. As you pull through, it'll create a loop that covers some of the braid with the red ribbon. Tie with the bow, and now let's use the front pieces we sectioned off at the start to create easy victory rolls. I just wrap upwards around my finger, gently pull out, and wedge a bobby pin through the roll on either side, and of course finish with some wispy curls and hairspray. You could use a navy ribbon, black, red, and while I don't have a Cathy costume for this one, this is a dress that I think has some of the same elements as various dresses she wore later in the film, so I'll link it down below. It's by Lace Made. We have a corset, beautiful lace detailing, billowy sleeves, and I reused a necklace I had from an Audrey Hepburn Breakfast at Tiffany's costume. Kind of wind-slapped, a little sweaty, but very pretty. I'm so inspired by the styling, so if you want to see a couple other looks, I'll recreate those over on Instagram and short form videos. But I wanted to start with the most natural look, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more pop culture videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Oh, and if you want to keep on watching, and you're a fan of Margot Robbie, check out the Barbie tutorial. That was so much fun to film. Or if you love this natural glam style of makeup, you might like the Nina Park inspired video that I recently uploaded.